Listen to me. There comes a moment when you look in the mirror and realize this truth. No one is coming to rescue you. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends. You owe it to yourself to stop talking about what you could have been and start fighting for what you will be. You have been carrying dreams that you refuse to deliver. You have been sitting on gifts that could change your life, but you keep telling yourself, tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There's only now. Every second you waste is another promise you break to yourself. You cannot keep blaming your situation, your childhood, your pain. Everybody has a story. Everybody decides to rise from it. The difference between success and regret is simple. Execution. You can pray, you can plan, you can post motivation all day, but until you move, nothing changes. The truth is, no one owes you anything, but you owe yourself everything. You owe yourself the discipline, the grind, the late nights, the hard days. You owe yourself the life you dreamed of. So stop making excuses. Stop settling. You have one life, and it is time to make it count. Every excuse you make is a deposit in the bank of regret. Every, I will do it later. Every, I am too tired. Every, maybe next time. It is stealing from your future. Excuses feel comfortable now, but they create pain later. Moreover, that pain will not fade. It will grow into guilt, into frustration, into a life that never reached its full potential. You keep saying you want success, but success does not negotiate with excuses. Success demands consistency, not convenience. It does not care how you feel. It does not care how hard it is. It only responds to grind. The truth is, excuses are expensive. They cost you time you will never get back. They cost you opportunities that will never return. They cost you confidence, because every time you lie to yourself and quit early, you teach your mind that your word cannot be trusted. You owe it to yourself to stop letting your feelings control your focus. You owe it to yourself to show up even when it hurts, because every moment you waste making excuses, someone else is out there executing. Someone else is outworking you, outlasting you, outbelieving you. Excuses build walls around your destiny. Discipline breaks them down. You cannot climb while you are clinging to comfort. It is time to trade excuses for execution and comfort for commitment. You keep running from the one conversation that can change your life, the one with the person in the mirror. You lie to yourself more than anyone else ever could. You say you are grinding, but you know you are not giving 100%. You say you want to change, but you keep feeding your habits instead of your hunger. You cannot fix what you refuse to face. The mirror does not lie. It will show you the truth, the bad, and the wasted potential. Instead of facing it, you scroll through social media, you distract yourself, and you look for validation from people who are also running from their truth. You owe it to yourself to stop pretending. You owe it to yourself to get real about where you are and where you want to be. You do not need anyone else to call you out. Call yourself out. Tell yourself, I can do better. I will do better. The moment you confront your own excuses, you begin to take your power back, because honesty is the first step toward elevation. Stop fearing your flaws. Face them, fix them, and fuel your fire with them. You cannot transform while you are still trying to protect your comfort zone. Growth begins the second you look in the mirror and say enough. No more lies. No more excuses. You keep saying you want it, but wanting it is not enough. The world is full of people who want it. The difference between the ones who dream and the ones who dominate is discipline. Discipline is not about feeling motivated. It is about doing what must be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. Discipline is waking up when the bed feels too good. And discipline is showing up when your body says rest and your heart says fight. Discipline is refusing to let emotion control execution. You cannot depend on inspiration. You must depend on integrity, doing what you said you would do long after the excitement has faded. You owe it to yourself to master discipline. Happen because discipline is the bridge between goals and greatness. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you do not have discipline, your talent will rust. Ben, discipline does not make you perfect. It makes you progress. When you say, I will, you build confidence. When you follow through, you build character. Happen. Every disciplined action is a vote for the future version of you. The one who does not quit, the one who does not fold, the one who refuses to be average. You owe it to yourself to stop negotiating with laziness. Discipline is not punishment. It is freedom. Listen, nothing changes until you take ownership. You can pray, you can plan, you can complain, but as long as you keep blaming your situation, your parents, your past, or your pain, you will stay stuck. The moment you say, it is on me, that is the moment you begin to take your power back. Ownership is not about guilt, it is about control. When you own your choices, you own your outcomes. You cannot fix what you keep blaming. You cannot rise while pointing fingers. You owe it to yourself to say, this is my life, and I am responsible for what I create. Stop waiting for someone to hand you a miracle. You are the miracle. Stop waiting for a break. Become the one who breaks through. Every time you take responsibility, you shift from victim to victor. You owe it to yourself to stop carrying excuses and start carrying accountability. Because when you take ownership, you stop being a passenger in your story and become the author of it. Do not say, I cannot. Say, how can I? Do not say, it is impossible. Say, I will make it possible. Ownership is the difference between wishing for success and working for it. You owe it to yourself to rise above blame and write a new chapter, one that begins and ends with you. Pain is not your punishment, it is your push. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every sleepless night, it is shaping something powerful inside you. You keep asking, why is this happening to me? However, what if it is happening for you? What if the pain you are running from is the very thing that will unlock your purpose? You owe it to yourself to stop avoiding the struggle. Growth does not come from comfort, it comes from conflict. You cannot build strength without resistance. You cannot develop faith without storms. Every moment that hurts is molding you, preparing you, training you for the next level. Do not despise the pain, use it, happen. Let it remind you that you are still fighting. Let it fuel you when motivation fades. You owe it to yourself to turn your scars into stories, your breakdowns into breakthroughs. People who have never struggled will never understand your fire. They will never know the cost of your resilience. However you do. You know what it is like to cry in silence and still show up the next morning. That is not weakness. That is warrior energy. So stop running from pain. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it propel you. Because the same pain that tried to break, you can become the power that builds you. You cannot reach greatness surrounded by people who are comfortable with average. You owe it to yourself to protect your circle. Energy is contagious. And if you stay around quitters, you will start quitting too. If you walk with the lazy, you will start losing your edge. However, if you surround yourself with lions, you will start roaring like one. Listen, some people are not bad. They are just not built for your vision. They think small, dream small, and live small. And if you are not careful, their limitations will become your ceiling. You cannot afford to let small minds talk you out of a big purpose. You owe it to yourself to create an environment that feeds your fire. Be around people who challenge you, not those who comfort your excuses. Be around those who call you higher, not those who keep you stuck. Growth requires separation. Sometimes you have to walk away from the crowd to find your calling. You cannot keep your dream alive in toxic soil. You must plant it where belief grows. You owe it to yourself to protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. If they are not adding value to your vision, they are subtracting from your future. Choose your circle wisely, because whom you walk with determines where you end up. You owe it to yourself to raise your standard. Stop settling for good enough when you know you are capable of greatness. Every time you accept less than what you deserve, you teach the world how to treat you. You cannot keep talking about excellence while living in average. You cannot keep praying for more while giving minimum effort. Listen, you were not born to blend in. You were born to break barriers. However, breaking barriers requires belief, and belief shows up through standards. You must demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. Your standard is not built on comfort, it is built on commitment. You owe it to yourself to stop tolerating mediocrity in your effort, your discipline, your relationship, and your mindset. The version of you that settles will never meet the version of you that succeeds. Raising your standard means doing one more rep, studying one more hour, and staying one more night at the grind while others sleep. It means refusing to quit when you are tired and pushing because you are driven. And you cannot claim you want greatness and live like everyone else. The standard must become your identity. When you expect more, you give more. When you give more, you become more. You owe it to yourself to live as your dreams deserve, with no excuses and no limits. You owe it to yourself to stay consistent. Anybody can start, but very few have the discipline to keep going when the excitement fades. Success does not come to those who do it sometimes. It comes to those who show up every single day. Tired, hungry, focused, and relentless. Consistency is not about perfection. It is about persistence. You do not have to win every battle. You just cannot stop fighting. Every rep, every step, every moment of effort compounds over time. You cannot see it yet, but the foundation is forming. Brick by brick, grind by grind, you are building something unbreakable. Stop starting and stop getting motivated for a week and disappearing for a month. You owe it to yourself to stay locked in even when the results are not visible. The process is working even when it feels slow. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Consistency is the ultimate separator. While others quit at discomfort and you keep moving through it, while they are waiting for the right mood, you are already in motion. You owe it to yourself to become unstoppable, not because you are the most talented, but because you are the most consistent. When you show up for yourself every day, you stop needing motivation because you become momentum. The moment where everything you have endured, every tear, every setback, every lonely night, it all adds up to this truth. You owe it to yourself to finish. You have come too far to quit now. You have sacrificed too much to stop short of destiny. You have survived storms that were meant to destroy you, and you are still standing. You cannot let comfort steal what pain prepared you for. You cannot let fear silence what faith started. You cannot let excuses bury what effort built. You owe it to yourself to see what happens if you do not give up. Listen, nobody can want it for you. Nobody can